Well, back, and my special guest this morning is Professor Paul Clark. Now, Paul is the chair of the Buderim Foundation. Good morning, Paul. How are you?
Good morning, Gary. I'm very well, thank you.
Good, nice to see you. Paul, for folk in Buderim, they know, I think, a little bit about the Buderim Foundation, but I thought, well, this morning we would have a bit of a chat and talk about what the Buderim Foundation is, why was it formed, and what's it all about? So let's go back and say, what is the Buderim Foundation?
Well, firstly, let me say it's a community foundation, and community foundations have a very particular characteristic that they are related to providing the very best service they can to a particular region, to that community in the region. They started in the States over 100 years ago. The Buderim Foundation started in 2003 because the BWMCA thought this would be a good idea, and it's grown significantly since then.
So, Paul, the BWMCA, for those who are not Buderim people, what does that mean?
It's the Buderim War Memorial Community Association, and it's essentially the long-standing group in Buderim, which has Buderim's interests at heart, and so they came up with the idea of the foundation.
Going back to the American model, and I don't know whether this is applicable here, but the American model, they have what they call community chests. Is this a similar sort of thing?
It is. It's a different way of saying the same thing. So basically all community foundations bring resources, generally money, into the community. They invest it in trust, so they look after it, and they make grants or awards or put money out back into the community for the benefit of the community.
Now, the Buderim Foundation, obviously, the first criteria is Buderim. What sort of things do you fund in Buderim?
We've had 2 rounds of grants at the moment. There's a third one on the way just at the moment. And the sorts of grants that we've given have been to give you a couple of examples. We put some significant funds into the Scout Hall in Buderim to allow that to be refurbished. This year we gave money to the Buderim Concert Band so that they could have a masterclass in the Memorial Hall and then a concert afterwards. So they're projects, and they have to go to, the funds have to go to organisations, and there are 2 sorts of organisations that we're able to fund. Those that are actually charities themselves. Our foundation is a charity, and therefore we are able to take funds in, and in certain circumstances people get tax deductions and so on. We can put money out to organisations that are in that category, and then we have another part of our trust fund in which local community organisations can apply.
So, in essence, you are a philanthropic trust?
Essentially philanthropic trust, yeah. Our long-term objective is to build the corpus of funds that we have in the trust. We never spend that corpus, we only spend the interest and the earnings of it, and the more we have in the corpus, then the more grants that we can put out for local people.
So therefore there are funds available to organisations or groups or whatever in Buderim, and as you mentioned, there's another grant allocation to be made in the near future. Just quickly, are you planning on extending and starting up a foundation in Maroochydore, for argument's sake, or Mooloolaba or Caloundra, Kawana?
I think one of the strengths of the Buderim Foundation is it focuses on Buderim, a nicely defined area. Yep. Most community foundations have a specific area. We'd encourage the formation of community foundations elsewhere, and we've been talking to people around the area about how that might happen. We'd be happy to help them.
I think it's an absolutely fantastic idea. How long's it been going?
About 7 years. So, and we've had, now this is the 3rd year of granting that we've been able to put out. Each year we've managed to put out more funds, and we've got a great future, I think. So,
I suppose this might be a bit of a rude question, but I'll ask it anyway. What sort of monies are currently in the pool, as it were?
Well, you can work it out backwards because we can allocate this year $17,500 to put out as grant funds, and so that's what we've earned on the corpus, which continues to grow because we have some really, really good regular donors, and we have some quite specific one-off donors who are really pleased to see their money put to work.
All right. Well, if anyone would like to know more about the Buderim Foundation, I'm sure, Paul, you'd be only too pleased to have a chat to folk, but there's a number you can call, 5456 1757. That's 5456 1757, and the folk from the Buderim Foundation will certainly answer any of your questions, whether you'd like to be a donor or you would like to talk about becoming a recipient. There we go. My special guest this morning on Benny's World has been Professor Paul Clark, the chair of the Buderim Foundation, and I'll be talking to Paul on a regular basis right here on 104.9 Sunshine FM.